Welcome, everyone, to Wilkes Connect podcast. Today, we're hearing from James Monahan of BedRez, a new company that you should be looking out for as we continue our series on the TechCelerator program. James, welcome.
Dan, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today.
And so if you could, a little bit of backstory, talk to us about what BedRez is sort of at a base level and sort of what it is that you're looking to offer the community.
Absolutely. So we'll get into it, but BedRez is from a personal journey of my own. And what it is a recovery resource network helping individuals find resources they need and open beds when they're looking to go to rehab and treatment for addiction. So like I said before, it took me back in the day 22 days to find a bed.
Okay.
And that's way too long, almost a little over 3 weeks to find a bed when I was actually raising my hand, asking for the help that I needed. And this December 6th will be my 5-year sobriety.
Oh, wow. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And so you say that it took you 22 days to find a bed. Talk about what you mean when you say that. I think we think about when people go to these facilities that they're taken care of, there's food, there's place to rest and do all these things. But you're saying that there's actually things that aren't provided when someone goes into rehabilitation.
Well, it's the delayed access. So it's at that point, nobody knows they need to go to rehab when they actually need to go to rehab. And a family member and a loved one doesn't know what their son or daughter needs once they need to go to a rehab. So back at the end of 2020, when I actually threw my hands up and told my family that my life is over, I need help, I can't do this on my own, I just used and drank for 25 years, where do I turn to? And they had no clue where to turn to as well. Thankfully, the Luzerne County Drug and Alcohol called me after 3 weeks. So it took 3 weeks, and thank the Lord to my parents to basically lock me in their spare room for 3 weeks. That's where I detoxed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and waiting for that phone call just to find an open bed. And at that point, it's all criteria based because I had no insurance. I lost my job due to my addiction. And so that got me thinking. So finally, I got a bed. Only one door that opened for me. I took it. And I said, this is life or death for me. So when I took that, I sat in a rehab for 71 days, almost a third of the year.
Oh, wow.
And to myself, within 2 weeks, I became a community leader. So I helped 25 guys every day, get to the food lines, the med lines, come to their groups, the program and stuff like that. And I saw guys coming back to my group and after their 28-day stay, they would stop programming. They'd stop working on their addiction and their recovery. And I would ask them why. And, my counselor is calling all these places looking for a bed for me to go to additional care after a 28-day stay. So I said, you know what? It's 2020 going into 2021. There's got to be an easier, smoother, streamlined way.
Gotcha.
So I went back to my room every night. First of all, I prayed to God that it's going to get me out of what I was in. I did all my readings. And I put pen to paper, and it was all my journaling for 71 days. So when I got out of treatment, so there's got to be an easier way. So I started writing up an application, similar if you want to think of like a hotwire.com for open hotels.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm looking to build, which is when people need it the most, they could do Google searches in their area, and it'll tell them there's 7 rehabs, and out of those 7 rehabs, there's X amount of beds open. So they could seamlessly book it through the application.
Okay.
Cutting down on phone calls. Like I said, we called admissions at different rehabs. I didn't get any phone calls back.
Yeah.
And statistics show it takes 7 to 15 days to get a phone call back if they're overbooked. And we don't know where we want to go. So that's the hard part of the game.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that. And I love that this comes out, not love that it comes out of something that's so negative, but that you're speaking to something that we don't really see as regular part of society. In one of my former roles, I used to actually work as the third shift crisis counselor. So I'm used to being the one that was on the end of, we have a person in crisis and it's an immediate crisis. It's after hours. We need to find a bed. And so where I was in Michigan, we had emergency rooms that were set up in emergency beds. But in that morning, they got brought back to the center, and then usually were re-released because again, there was no permanent place for them to go to do their rehab. We only had the emergency overnight one. And so there were numerous times that we'd get somebody during the day like, all right, we just need you to come back after 11 p.m. And
Right.
after 11, we can get you a place for the evening, get you triaged in the morning, but then we'll try to figure some things out. And so I appreciate you sharing your personal story and this notion that the decision to go to rehab isn't when rehab starts for a lot of people.
Right.
It's the decision to go and then the waiting those X amount of days to find a facility for you to actually get into and actually be able to start your process.
And you know what, too, to add to that is I'm a former addict, and we think if we don't get it right then and there, it's not meant for us.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like if we're not getting a phone call back, there's a reason why we're not getting that phone call back. Or, you know, I'm not good enough to get that bed in that treatment center. But you know what? At the end of the day, yes, I am. You know, I'm entitled to that bed as well. And I saw this a lot, too. I worked at a treatment center in 2022 and especially around here, once it got colder out, people were coming off the streets just to get a warm meal in a bed,
right,
a shower. And then basically the quick oil change, and then they were going back out into society and using it again. And that's why a lot of relapse numbers are so high, you know, but this is the time in my life I said, you know, I need to change something. And it just didn't happen in that rehab. When I got out, I needed to do a lot of steps, right? I got out in March of 2021. I heard about a program where I currently work now at Luzerne County Community College called the ARI program, the All One Recovery Educational Institute.
Okay.
I went back to school at the age of 41 with a free program here. And I say free because I did everything they asked me to, and they helped pay for my education.
Wow.
And today I'm sitting here with you that I'm a junior right now at Penn State World Campus Online.
Okay.
And all of my credits from LCC transferred over to Penn State. So I tried this when I graduated high school. I earned a football scholarship to a Division II school. I ran into drugs and alcohol, and I lost everything.
Gotcha. And it's interesting because what I love is that you said you're sitting here today. You're a junior at the Penn State World Campus. You're working at LCCC. You're starting a program in this application where you're trying to solve this problem, and that you got that second chance. And I think that that's one of these things that we hear. Oh, X person is in rehab, and for the most part, society, we're pretty much done with them at that point because you've screwed up, you've messed up, and then, oh, wait, you're back in rehab. And I think one of the things that we tend to ignore is that there's a lot of other things that go into place.
Right.
If you're at a point where you finally said, I'm ready for rehab, that's a good thing, not a bad thing, because you're willing to make that next step. But the idea that you may have relapsed, it might not be that you're weak or that you are still addicted or all these other things. It could simply be you didn't get a bed and depression took over.
Right. And you know it too. And that makes a great point, because it's like, people go into rehab for some of the wrong reasons, whether it's legal, whether it's a family member's making me go in, or I'm just trying to get my parents off my back. But at that point, my life is over. Within my 25-year run of addiction, there was 2 suicide attempts.
Oh, wow.
And that didn't scare me.
Okay.
Which is crazy, right? So now today it's like, and it blows my mind because I'm a different person than I was 5 years ago. And the big thing about this is judgment and stigma towards me and other addicts out there. You know, so basically staying sober is a confidence booster, because people want to see you fail because they think you're going to fail. Right. And today I'm 5 years in, junior at Penn State. Basically I was homeless 5 years ago, and my girlfriend and I just bought a house in Pittston in February. And we are expecting a baby girl in October.
Congratulations.
So it's like the full circle moment. It blows my mind, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else today than I am here. One quote I want to give you that sticks out to me is, I am way more addicted to my recovery today than I ever was when I was in active use.
Oh, man. That's deep. And that's the idea that, and I love that notion, because when we talk about addiction, it's one of those things that addiction never really goes away. Often it transfers to something else. And so for you, it's your addiction to is that I'm addicted to my recovery, waking up every day and being better than I was the day before. And that recovery is where I'm putting all that time and energy. I love that quote.
And and I have to too, because everything I've done in life, I went 150% at. Even with my addiction, I went 150% at that. And it drove me into the ground. And you know, if I could be a better person today, a better brother, a better son, a better upcoming father. And, you know, I said to my girlfriend, I said, every day I live on this earth, I don't want you or the baby to ever see me drunk or high in my life. Yeah. And that's a goal I'm working towards. Right. But coming into BedRez now, It's been an eye opener. It's been a dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
I started this journey 2 years ago with the wonderful Shawnee Muhammad
Mm-hmm.
through
Mm-hmm.
the Luzerne Chamber. She has been one of the biggest rocks in my life.
Yeah.
She got me on the scene almost 2 years ago with tecBRIDGE.
Yep.
And 2 years ago, I did the tecBRIDGE business plan competition for the
Mm-hmm.
collegiate side of it.
Okay.
And I was a runner-up last year.
Oh, wow.
And this year, and we'll get into the TechCelerator, which helped me
Mm-hmm.
so much in not even just 10 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but beyond that, right?
Okay.
When I heard my name called and I got to hold the big check at the end at the celebration night, 3 weeks later, I heard my name called on stage at the Kirby Center for tecBRIDGE, and I won $10,000 for tecBRIDGE as well.
Yeah. And that's amazing. And that's where we're going to transition to next is that, so, you have these 71 days, you've got this journal and you come up with this idea that this is what I want to do. This is the application I want to put together, from your own personal experience of witnessing it and seeing how it needs to change. How does Shawnee and the TechCelerator program get you from point A to point B? And so, and for those listening, we've been talking about the program. We've heard from 2 or 3 different other groups of sort of what they've been doing. And so this is another look as to how this program works. So yes, it's 10 weeks, but talk about how it's more than 10 weeks.
Right. And you know what? The other, my co-startup personnel that were with me in that room for 10 weeks, you did a couple of them so far. I listened to them. They were fantastic.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you.
We're all unique in our own way. And somehow we all, I think 7 startups, we all intertwine somehow, even if it's healthcare.
Yep.
But I didn't know anything about this until Shawnee came to me. So last year when I didn't hear my name called to cash out at tecBRIDGE, she's the one that stayed on top of me. She's the one that pushed me and said, you can do this. Don't quit. You need all those no's to get to the yeses. So she told me about TechCelerator. I put my application in and I heard back and I'm like, you know what? This is a new lease at life. This is a new opportunity. And once I got into that room with Larry and Don Webster is fantastic, right?
Yep.
Larry's fantastic. And they put up with our ups and downs. And I went into that week 1 with a totally different value proposition. I was still trying to pitch what I pitched last year and I didn't win. So I changed my entire business model. And here I am cashed out at the end.
Yeah.
But week over week, pushing each other, doing those pitches in front of Don and Larry and the other startups helped me get to where I was in week 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they gave me the confidence that I can do this. My imposter syndrome was pushed away because I did deserve to be in that room. I do deserve to help others. And that gave me the opportunity to talk to Ken from Ben Franklin Financial. Like, having the opportunity to talk to someone that could help you fund it, it blows your mind, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of this, we sat in front of 3 judges, and those 3 judges I individually talked to. One coming from Microsoft, hearing, I have the same problem in my hometown in Virginia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it blew my mind, right? It's not just here in the Northeast. And that's why we're trying to start off in the Northeast with BedRez, prove the concept, and then spider out to other states.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. And that's that. I think that's one of the cool things about your program is that it's one of those that in talking to people, you're going to hear, oh, wait, that is a problem that we have. And that's a universal problem. So that it's great that, in tecBRIDGE, this is the first cohort that's in Luzerne County, but tecBRIDGE has been around for a while. And it's great that we have something here in the Northeast that gives people this opportunity and these resources to take these ideas and bring them into fruition. And can you talk about those resources and what that was like, going into these 10 weeks and sort of not knowing what to get out of it. But at the end, you have a brand new value prop. You've got money that you've cashed out on. You have 6 other individuals that you've been doing these cohorts with as you've been able to network. Talk about this incubation process of these 10 weeks and how it helps you really develop and accelerate yourself through that program.
Well, I believe one of their programs called Connect, right? And that's what it is. It's connecting. And it's going from tecBRIDGE last year to this year, along with TechCelerator. It allowed me to talk to the mentors and the people that I needed to talk to and be in front of, right? And Shawnee said this from day 1. She said, just trust the process. Listen to who we put in front of you, and we'll help make it successful. Now, going into all this, we just think we have an idea. Right. Yeah, and it's a dream. It's becoming a reality now. And it's, I'm still waiting to wake up from the dream. The nightmares are over. All right. My addiction, I lived for 25 years and now everything's right in front of me. And it's planning, and it's the little details,
Mm-hmm.
the little details. But having those classes helped me so much, because I would do a pitch. A week later, I would do a totally different one, and it would be better than last week's, right?
Right.
Just hearing the feedback and then learning from another startup TechCelerator,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely amazing, because, oh yeah, I can do what she's doing or he's doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing too, like the events that they host.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to let you know this. I'm so happy you're the one sitting behind the microphone now, because 2 years ago when I started my process, Shawnee invited me to the Think Center
Mm-hmm.
to professional panelist, and you were one of the three sitting there on the couch. And I sat there and I listened. I took notes. I went home and I said, I want to be like Dan and them. I want to be on that couch. I want to be helping other startups.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And today that's where I'm at. I work full-time now helping students in recovery at Luzerne County Community College. Same
Mm-hmm.
program I was in the past 2.5 years.
Right.
I'm also just been added to the business advisory board here, because I'm a business student here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm helping current students with their startup ideas as well. And also this fall, I'm going to be hiring an intern from Penn State. And I want to get into that to help other business students, to give them the opportunity
Wow.
to learn from a startup.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they graduate, maybe I'll have enough funding to hire them full time.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's amazing. I appreciate you sharing that. And I'm happy that you were able to be there at that panel that we had 2 years ago. And I love that idea that you're planting this notion of you were there in the audience and you got to see and hear from individuals who were in the community. And you set that goal of, I want to be on the other side of this next time. And that through the TechCelerator program and your hard work and what you've put into it, that's an achievable goal.
Right.
And I think that's what people who are working in business and doing these startups sometimes don't realize, is that those goals are actually achievable,
Right.
and they're achievable here in the Northeast. We have the resources available to you if you're willing to put in the time and work. And as Shawnee said, if you're willing to trust the process and listen and do what we put in front of you, we can
Right.
get you there.
And too, with this process going on now, I have more ideas coming out. And it's like, I love the entrepreneurship and myself, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, I have other app ideas. But sticking with what I'm currently doing, there's 1 week that sticks out to me out of the 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It was when the business students from King's came over and interviewed us. Right, so they interviewed us halfway through the 10 weeks. And two gentlemen, they were fantastic, came over, interviewed me. And they were wild after our hour interview.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we go to the final night. No, I'm sorry. We go to the Kirby Center for tecBRIDGE for the final night.
Mm-hmm.
Those students were there doing their final report.
Oh, wow.
They walked up to my table and shook my hand. And they couldn't believe what TechCelerator did for me.
Yeah.
Stood there and talked to both of them. They want to be a part of it in the future.
Awesome.
And it's like getting our future students here in the Northeast
Mm-hmm.
access to that TechCelerator. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Myself and one of my other co-startups, Jasmine,
Yep.
her and I went with Shawnee outside of Philly a few weeks back
Mm-hmm.
for a Microsoft event
Yeah.
where Shawnee spoke at, and then Jazz and I got to stand up and tell our story.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversations in that room were, I'm
Yeah.
like, 5 years ago I was sitting in a rehab room. Here I am
Oh.
5 years later in a Microsoft building.
Yeah. That's
And
amazing.
because of TechCelerator.
Yeah. And I love that, again, when we talk about the Northeast, there are a lot of people who like to harp on, we're only coal and anthracite
Mhm.
focused. We're stuck in the past. We haven't found our way forward. And it's like, well, no, we have the programs if you're willing to,
Right.
step outside of your comfort zone. We have the ability to say, while that was our past and our history, we are building towards the future. And
Right.
the idea that, you have this idea for an app and you go through this program, and then a few weeks later, you're sitting in a Microsoft building talking to Microsoft about
Right.
your process and your progress is amazing. But that happened here.
Right.
The connections happened here in the Northeast. You didn't have to go to New York. You didn't have to be in Philly to make it happen.
Nope.
You got to go to Philly to tell the story of the Northeast.
And it's great too. There's like 35, 40 people in that room, and they were all individual business owners,
Mm-hmm.
but they were tied to Microsoft or partnered with Microsoft. All of them talked to us like, listen, we know you might not need our services today.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to help. We're here
Yeah.
to get you on that path. And it's like, wow, I don't need thousands. Yeah, sometimes you need thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get started.
Yeah.
But let me tell you where I'm at today. So putting my head down, winning the 2,000 that I've won from TechCelerator and the 10,000 from tecBRIDGE,
Mm-hmm.
I'm part of an organization out of Scranton called OVR, Office of Vocational Rehabilitation.
Okay.
They've been helping me with my education. So there's money there because I have documented treatment. I have documented mental health. I go to therapy. So I was approved for $2,300 per semester for the next 8 semesters.
Oh, wow.
Right. And then my rep tells me, since you're a business student, we have a small business grant match. I'm like, what? So I sent in my business plan about a month ago with my application. I just got a call back on Friday that I'm eligible to up to $30,000.
Oh,
do not have to pay it back.
Oh, amazing.
My business plan was one of the best they've seen to date. And it's because of TechCelerator.
Oh, wow.
Putting that together for X amount of weeks. I already had the bones there. I just had to edit it to where I'm getting it. So potentially right now I could have $42,000 of startup cash.
Wow.
To start without even going live yet, because we're currently building our MVP right now to give it to a couple of treatment centers to use it to prove the concept.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I want people to hear that $42,000, how much did it cost you to start TechCelerator?
$0.
And that's the key. It was your time. If you were willing to put in the time and the energy, the resources are here in the Northeast. And yes, other money goes into doing this, and you have to have seed money. But the idea of applying and getting yourself to a point where TechCelerator can accept you, 10 weeks later, you're sitting at a point where there's a possibility of $42,000 for your startup. And the fact that you're getting it into treatment centers to actually test it. It's no longer an idea. It's how do we launch?
And you know what, too? Within 10 weeks, it's like I said, it's nothing so we put our application in, there's no money down to get into it, but it's, for 10 straight Wednesday nights for 3 hours a night. And that's good because that's after my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm putting the work in after hours, and I'm starting to see the benefits of it today. Now, listen, I want to mention, now my girlfriend works in mental health, right? She's not from this state. She's from Texas. She moved here a few years back. And when I told her about TechCelerator, she's like, "You're doing this, right?" She sacrificed as well, and she's absolutely amazing. She's my biggest advocate and fan. And there was weeks I wanted to quit.
Oh yeah,
every week.
I can imagine
every week because I felt like I was stagnant. I wasn't getting anywhere, but I was actually getting somewhere, which I didn't see that until after the 10th week. Right. So after we sat back down with Larry and Don and Shawnee. Also Jocelyn too, out of Hazleton. She's fantastic.
She is amazing. I love Jocelyn.
I want to share a little story about her too. So last year when I was walking out of the Kirby from tecBRIDGE and I didn't hear my name called to be cashed out, she calls me over. She didn't even know me. Called me over and said, "Listen, Jamie, very nice to meet you. BedRez isn't ready today, but it's going to be ready."
Wow.
That's what kept me going. And the night that I won tecBRIDGE and I was on stage, I shared that little piece because she won Mentor of the Year.
Yes.
And there's a reason why she talks to people that way, because she got me where I needed to be back on track as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Jocelyn is a treasure. That is one thing I will say about the Northeast, even though people don't like to drive all the way up and down 81, is that between Hazleton, Wilkes-Barre, and Scranton, the resources that are actually available for you, if you're serious about your business, you're willing to put in the time and give up those hours. Like, 3 hours a week doesn't feel like a lot, but after 10 straight weeks, after working all day and taking care of your family and doing all those things, the last thing you want to do at 6 o'clock is then go to the Think Center, and sit and let somebody rip apart all the work you've done for the last week.
And you just said it perfectly. And I know we know at the end of the day that Don and Larry has our best interest, and they always do. And we thought they were ripping it apart, but they weren't. They were shaping it to make it better. And then we think about, they've been doing this for how many years? They've seen so many startups. They've seen so many ideas.
Yeah.
They're just trying to make me succeed and help me succeed to get to where I need to go. And that's the deflating part of it. When you go in there, you think you have something great for the night, and it gets pulled apart. But you have to go back to the drawing board and say, you know what, they're just doing this to help me. So I actually cherish those conversations and all that feedback that we get.
And I think that's one of the important parts too when we talk about business is that idea of feedback. I know a lot of students who listen to the podcast, is very similar to what you're getting in your upper level courses where you've written this great paper, you bring a draft in, and the professor sits down and it comes back covered in red ink and you're like, but all this work. And it's like, well, yes, you started off really, really well, but here's how you make it better. And that's in the classroom. That's the difference between if you got a C because you didn't make any changes or you got an A because you listened to your professor and you sort of pushed forward. It's the same thing out in the real world, and that you're going to get mentors who are going to look at everything that you've poured your soul into, and they're going to go, "This is amazing," except, and essentially you're left with the first sentence and have to start back over again. But they've been there before, and they have your best interest at heart, and you get this for free now.
Right. And you know what too, like this program provided so much more to me. So after I won the 10,000 with tecBRIDGE, I'm getting calls the next day. And it's like, are people coming out of the woodworks now because they can see that I can gain some cash from judges and things that I've been doing? But no, it's a bridge to the Luzerne County Chamber, right? And people are starting to reach out to me wanting to partner with me now.
Yeah.
Before I even have a product ready to go. And it's like, all right, strategically, what do I need to do? So I fall back on Jocelyn. I fell back on Shawnee, my mentors. Like, because right now I'm 100% in myself, and this is an LLC, and who knows, down the road, I might want to give shares up, right? And I'm working with treatment centers. One of my pilot programs is going to be Geisinger and Marworth, and talking with Kenny from Ben Franklin. If I can get the Geisinger name on my roster of clients, that's a good start here in the Northeast, right?
Yeah, it is.
So things like that, I'm strategically trying to find centers that can help me now and provide the product for them, grandfather them in, and give it to them long term.
Yeah.
Right. We're starting here in the Northeast to help prove the concept. Now, a lot of these treatment centers have multiple locations, 100, 200, 300 in different states. So we're providing it to them now here, and hopefully they'll use it in their other centers. Right? At the end of the day, there's a couple of competitors out there doing fantastic things. I'd never knock a competitor. They're still trying to help the next person in their states or wherever they're from. But at the end of the day, all it is a directory. Addicts still have to call the phone number and see if there's open beds. So that's why we're going to try to differentiate ourselves, which putting a seamless button in there that they can book it. And hold it for 48 hours until they get their loved ones to the door.
That's amazing. And switching back into the app. And so that's what I really want to sort of end on is the idea of what is it that you are bringing to the community? It sounds like it's the step above where if you used hotel.com, if you've used Orbitz or any of those things, and you're at a point where you need a bed and you're in recovery, this makes it so much easier because I think you're right. That phone call is a part of it as well. The multiple steps and barriers that are there. It's admitting that I have that problem, but then I have to pick up the phone and call someone and have this conversation. And then if they say, that's great, but we don't have a bed, now I'm defeated. And you've sort of pulled that section out of what's available. I need it now. And I got 48 hours now.
And you know what, too, this is going to be a lot of work on our development team developing that, because some centers don't have anything in place, no software in place. But if it's as much as daily, we'll reach our clients and call them every day, do the legwork for them and update it until we get to a point where we can build something that they can use that'll automatically do that for them.
Okay.
A quick story is when I worked in an alcohol treatment center back in 2022, what was their process? They had a dry eraser board on the wall with all the clients' names tied to beds. And I saw a disgruntled employee walk out, grab the eraser, and erase the board. And nobody knew which patients were in which beds.
Oh, man. Wow.
Like, we're dealing with people's lives here, right?
Yeah.
Let's give them the smooth opportunity to succeed and hopefully minimize the relapse numbers a little bit. We're not going to get all the way there. Now, posting on social media, I just posted something 20 minutes ago on my LinkedIn that last year's statistics out of the U.S., there was 107.2 million people suffering from substance use disorder and mental health. Out of the country, there's 29,000 facilities. That's on an average of 3,000 patients per facility. So are we lacking at facilities, or are we lacking at access to care? Right?
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
going to change the big beast.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the numbers,
Yeah.
right? Do the
Yeah.
math at the end of the day, and it's like over 100 million people suffer.
Yeah.
Why can't they get help? Because some of them don't want it. Okay, we get that.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
the other ones that do, let's open up for them.
Yeah.
I'm working with the mission right now called Let's Shine. Her
Mm-hmm.
name is Holly Spees. She is unbelievable, and she's doing this the Susquehanna Warrior Mission,
Okay.
right? And this reserve is helping the homeless people, and she's starting off in Wilkes-Barre.
Okay.
And with starting off in Wilkes-Barre, you see now that the Keystone Mission's closing.
Mm-hmm.
Where are these folks going to go, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't choose to do that, right? They need that Maslow's hierarchy you need to get to where we're at today.
Exactly.
Right? And at the end of the day, does anybody ever walk by to them and ask them, do you need help today? Do you need to get into a bed? Maybe
Wow.
statistically, you'll get 10 of them, but 2 of them might want it.
Yeah.
So let's help those 2.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do today, to help 1 or 2 people with our application to start.
No, and I love that, and that acceptance that not everyone is where they need to be right now to accept that, to accept treatment. But I love that for you ties back into your story as well, because a year ago, BedRez wasn't where it was at to receive the help that it needed to move forward. So you went back and did the work, and that's just the same thing, is that the person you see on the street that you offer help to today may not be ready today, but that doesn't mean you need to give up on that person.
And you know what, too? Last year when Jocelyn told me that,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have TechCelerator in my life.
Yeah.
This year I did,
Mm-hmm.
and look where I'm at today.
Right.
So, I mean, the proof is right there in the pudding, and it's like, just keep going. There's going to be other programs opening up to help. And now with these 2 competitions I have under my belt this year and being a Penn State student, I can enter this fall into the Nittany AI Challenge, which I didn't know about out at State College. I could put myself into a Shark Tank situation and earn more money.
Oh, wow.
As being a Penn State business student. And I didn't know that until, of course, these competitions started coming up. I started doing the legwork on LinkedIn and to reach out to these contacts. And now it's like, oh my God, there's so much more out there, an opportunity because of TechCelerator.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And so wrapping up, where do you want BedRez to be in the next 10 years? Given that now, a year later from being, walking off of a stage and not hearing your name called and not knowing where you were going to where you are now, and the opportunities that just the ones that you know of that are in front of you, realizing that there's more out there. 10 years from now, where are we going to, in your ideal world, where do we see BedRez and what does it do?
10 years from now, I want this thing launched. I wanted to start off as a content website with some programming behind it to help the individual book. At the end of 10 years, I want it to be a full application where people are going to an app. They are seeing resources, not just for treatment. They're getting aftercare counseling. They're getting aftercare therapy, virtual providers to continue their recovery from crisis to aftercare and beyond. And at the end of the day, be nice to partner with like a Microsoft to get the software where it needs to be, give it to a bigger company and let them run with it on a national or a world scale to help people with addiction across the world.
Wow.
But yeah, so within the first year, I'd like to have that MVP up and running. We can work out the kinks, what we need to do. But within 5 years, have a functional website ready to go with booking buttons and things like that. But from 5 to 10, have a full application and let it just seamlessly run on its own. And working side by side with the insurance companies. So that's a big thing. People can set their criteria when they get to our site, and it'll show them what's available based on their criteria and insurance.
Wow. And it's, again, someone who's worked on the other side of that industry and been the person receiving the person in crisis, the ways that would have helped immediately to have someone standing in front of me, be able to pop it up on the phone and find a bed and be like, all right, transport, this is where you need to take this person. And it's done immediately instead of it's either going to be a quick overnight or we're releasing you or I can't help you today. That changes so many lives in that instant, in that spark of an instant.
I wish I had that back then. I didn't, but that's okay. There's always ideas coming into solutions. And December 6, 2020 is my sobriety date.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I live by a quote still by then. I told myself to do something today that your future self will thank you for.
Oh, wow.
Here I am coming up on 5 years later that I'm going to do something today that 5 years from now, hopefully I'm going on my 10 years of sobriety, 5 years in business. So I need to do something today that'll help me. And that's sitting with you, you giving me the opportunity just to share my voice.
Yeah.
You know, it might not help anybody today, but it might down the road. And just these opportunities will open up bigger doors for us. And, you know, we can help individuals one bed at a time.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, I want to thank you for your time today. This has been an amazing conversation. For our listeners, keep an eye out. Look for BedRez. It'll be at bedrez.com. Follow the Wilkes-Barre Connect podcast and Wilkes-Barre Connect program as well to learn about these opportunities that Jamie got a chance to actually go through, to learn about TechCelerator and keep yourself up to date. And Jamie, is there anything else you want to leave us with? Any last words?
Yeah, absolutely. So like Dan said, so go to bedrez.com. We're actually working with the company now to build a better site. You know, it starts off walking before we run.
Exactly.
Any questions you may have out there, please go to support@bedrez.com. I am very active on LinkedIn, James Monahan. I would love to start a conversation with you, whether it's, you know, on my posting on my wall or privately. And just give us a chance. That's all I say. Stigma is high, judgment's big. Just give us a chance, and we could do a lot of amazing things. We're one of the most unique people in the world. So thank you for the time. I really, time is everything, and I appreciate this connection.
I appreciate you as well. So, all right, thank you to our listeners for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.